Hey, it's Rorudo from Community Matters Cast, back again. Playing Standard this time, some ranked Standard. What I'm playing is a Prairie Dog and High Noon brew here. Basically, instead of being a good blue-based flash deck, we're a white-based flash deck. We got some value like flash creatures in 3, one of our huge flash payoffs at 4, and we basically try to stick a Prairie Dog and then play at instant speed, and hopefully we can get some giant Prairie Dogs, which is the whole point. It really only works in best of one, and it's a silly deck that uses just a draft card that I like, but been doing all right with it in sort of early platinum. Starting hands, obviously, we'll have the Prairie Dog. This is kind of a crappy one. It's more like a limited hand, but we can curve out. So I'm going to keep it. A lot of this deck is one for oneing until, hey, one for oneing until we like turn the corner and we have a little more value than our opponent. We're obviously at a lower power level than what many other people are going to be doing in Standard, but if they're playing this Coyote draft uncommon, we're playing a Prairie Dog draft uncommon, so we're in good company here. Double Prairie Dogs I have found to be not the best because we basically want to start leveraging the advantage of it by passing the turn. So you're going to get froggy here with both. We could trade, we obviously don't want to. This is actually a pretty fine start, and they're aggressive, which the Prairie Dogs, this is sort of a potentially good matchup. I like to jam with the Prairie Dog. It's not like we're going to block, although it does threaten to block the Coyote after this. We will pass the turn. And then we have a little bit more life gain coming in later. Oh, there's a Quake Mole. Don't even know what this card does. One of the things that you will see from the Standard videos is that I have become super well prepared for the metagame. I remember people talking about this being an annoying card. Whenever Ansrog, the Quake Mole, becomes blocked, there's an additional combat phase, but it's also just like a big beater. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to be something they'd like to do. The Wandering Emperor is an answer to this, and we can do Kutzel's Flanker and just trade off with the Coyote and take 13. I think that's what we'll have to do here. I will probably main phase the Wandering Emperor just in case of shenanigans. We can bottom that. I think we can keep that on top. I don't love main phasing the Wandering Emperor. They're going to give something haste. Maybe it's best to keep it back. And the Prairie Dog can actually block the slasher this time. So something else is going to come in with flash. I think we do instant speed the Wandering Emperor. We won't have to block the Quake Mole. So a lot of it's just going to depend on how big the creature that's coming in and it's going to get hasted up here is. So that's a small one. That we can handle. It's a larger one. I think only one of these is getting hasted up. That one. We should still be in the clear. So a big question is which one of these we block. I guess we block to keep the Prairie Dog alive. This puts us dead to some stuff, but that's how we roll. We get to gain a lot of incidental life. They've been tacking on like gain 2 life to everything that white does nowadays. So we have some options here that are kind of interesting in terms of stuff we can do main phase even. We've basically turned the corner at this point because we're going to gain so much life. So I kind of want to keep the Wandering Emperor around, so we'll just start by growing our Prairie Dog and gaining some life. let's see, this thing does a million things, so maybe it has something that interacts here. It doesn't appear to. This is where I'm at with modern Magic design. It's like, I'm not going to read all that. Good for you, or I'm sorry that happened to you. I'll kind of start to learn what the cards do as I play. I'm an English teacher, so it's funny that I don't like reading shit, but I mean, come on. But one thing we did notice on here, destroy target artifact or enchantment, probably better than to just play at instant speed, rather than to put this Virtue of Loyalty to untap the Prairie Dog, which is going to be the other piece of the puzzle. And we can get... So, we're either going to double spell with Lantern Flare, which is going to do 1 damage, or get the Flanker and something else. So I kind of like the idea of maybe putting another Prairie Dog down here. And then we're not going to get the extra counter, but we can get the Flanker down, we can do 2 damage to something, or we can get a Knight if we need it. So that's part of what I like about this deck, is the utility. I really like a toolbox deck. So this lets us kind of simulate that. Prairie Dog, I think, just like stronger than you'd think. Okay, so they're going to remove some oil counters here, so they'll make this thing huge. We could have Lantern Flared in response to the counter there, but I think I want to flash in this Flanker. So we'll flash in the Flanker, we'll gain 2, block and trade with one of the 3/3s. Okay, they're not even going for our life total right now, which is pretty sweet. Like, theoretically, we can just let all of this happen, but I don't mind getting this haste granter off the board. Let's gain 2 life and scry 2. High Noon does represent a lot of damage, but they're kind of out of cards in hand, so they're going to be playing 1 spell per turn anyway. And Lightning Helix, again, offers that utility, right? So with all of this coming at the Wandering Emperor, I'm just going to get rid of the, or attempt to at least, get rid of the one that grants haste. Okay. We'll just crack in, gain a bunch of life, and decide what we want to do on their turn. We could use the Prairie Dog's ability to get extra counters, but we want to have mana available for something. And Prairie Dogs are already bigger than green creatures right now. Well, okay, on par with and bigger than green creatures, so cannot argue with that. All right, they're plotting a cunning coyote. All right, fair enough. Okay, giving this vigilance and menace. I can also pump it to be a 6/6. I'm really not sure what they're up to. I don't know how much I even care about what they're doing anymore. That sounds dismissive. I just mean like these guys, these Prairie Dogs are sweet. All right, we'll take the up to 6 here. Okay. Yeah, take 6. Gonna bolt their Evolving Adaptive and flash in our 2/2 Knight. We're 1 mana off from. Yeah, they're scooping it up. So we had a lot of play there anyway. It's just trying to think of how to optimize that that sequence, but at any rate, that's what the deck does. Opponents on green-red Stompy, we just have that incidental life cushion, and we can be reactive to what they're doing. This hand looks close to ideal in that it's an early Prairie Dog and like cheap stuff to do with the mana. We'd like to get some more lands, but the Prairie Dog is really efficient for its size. So this is going to be one of those cases where I'm actually in favor of playing both Prairie Dogs. Now we could get got by something here, but I still want to attack. 2 Rage Reverse Thickets. I wonder what they have that was at instant speed there. But now we still want, we still want lands, but we'll have growing Prairie Dogs. Lands? What are those? So the Topiary Stomper cannot block right now, so they might be on some kind of ramp thing. The Prairie Dogs represent a weird amount of damage, and the Lightning Helixes represent a way to potentially close this game, even though we're pinched for mana. So a lot of it's just going to depend on what our opponent's ramp payoffs and targets are. All right, this hand looks potentially interesting. We're a little High Noon flooded now, but if we get a Plains, High Noon plus the Interrupters is pretty good. Well, they're going to probably take the Emperor out of this hand because they can see that we've got a lot of redundancy. Got to get the High Noon down. Unfortunately, it's a tap land. So we're going to be just a little bit more awkward than it needs to be here. I wonder if they'll take the final showdown now. Okay, I like that. I think I like they're going for the Interrupter there. To me, that makes sense. If they're able to get the second Interrupter here, it starts to really slow us down. Okay, they're going for that Servant of the Stinger. Get us for 2. Okay. Now we're playing stuff. I don't think we have time to wait on that. An Interrupter will, can do a lot actually on this board. Okay, so we're going to go for the Phyrexian Arena. That's their 1 spell per turn. So we can bounce it back and get pretty decent tempo value. And then they want to jam Servant of the Stinger. That's 1 damage down the hatch for us. You can attack with the Aven Interrupter, but it's kind of holding back their squad. And we have some sort of options now. We have a little bit of play to this. Phyrexian Arena is going to be a lot of cards for them over the course of the game. But them having a lot of cards isn't that good if they can't cast them. So they're still coming in with that. It's not going to have... It's not going to have the commit a crime trigger, so it's not going to be able to dig them deeper. So we're trying to think of what we would want to cast in the second main. I think getting access back to one of these spells seems good, and Planeswalkers are strong. I guess we won't win by not attacking, and they're going to start taking life from their Phyrexian Arena. They seem to have an instant speed removal spell. Okay. Give them back a Deep Cavern Bat. I don't think I like giving them back a Deep Cavern Bat. Because then they'll just take the Wandering Emperor again. Target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life. So they're just going to have access to so many cards, but they can only play 1 per turn. And as this keeps whittling away at their health, they might die to the High Noon effect. So, kind of interesting stuff there all around. Yeah, I think we want a Wandering Emperor. Just make all the tokens that we can before we need to tick up the Wandering Emperor. He's Each opponent sacrifices a planeswalker. There's no way around that. Still got a few tokens out of it. So be it. We get to Lantern Flare and get back the Even Interrupter, which is going to be a nice tempo piece later. But we may even want to kill one of the other things. So that's their Gixyagmoth's Praetor now. Okay, we'll double block that because you've already used your card for turn. So you're going to trade one away like that. Then we will. They both hit for the same amount of damage, so we'll Lantern Flare your Deep Cavern Bat to get back the Even Interrupter. It's a hand. That'll allow us to start interrupting things. Even better, we'll have a Prairie Dog into an Even Interrupter, so we'll actually have our sort of value piece now. It's not too bad. So now we wait until they get to 5 life, casting 1 spell per turn, and then we hit them with High Noon. So they just got to draw 10 more extra cards off Phyrexian Arena. Boom, and then we get there. Sure. I think I'll let them draw the card off Yawgmoth's Praetor here if they want to. Okay. They did not want to. Now we have access to destroy all creatures at on their turn if we need it, and even protection for the Prairie Dog, and our Even Interrupter can get in, representing shortening this clock a little bit on them. So High Noon actually really showing its utility here, because they're drawing so many cards, but it does not matter. If you're still only able to play 1 card per turn, I'm able to draw a card off the top and play it per turn as well. So we're still kind of at an equal playing field here. Interrupter can no longer get in. But we do still shorten the clock with Heartflame Duelist. And if we hit 1 more land, we can play and sack High Noon in the same turn, which represents 10 damage. We sack High Noon, then we play and sack another High Noon. So they're getting closer to a sneaky death than they may perceive themselves as. Yeah, I think we're going to take the hit here. They're going to get some card draw and loss of life. We can gamble on the other land for the High Noon kill, but I think we're just kind of there anyway, so yeah, we did get there. Oh no, it's tapped. Okay, so it's not the one that represents the end of the game. I mean, I think we go for it now. I don't know if they have anything that they can play in response here that would stop them from dying. So that was a bizarre one, but that shows off the function of the High Noon in the deck. Super weird. I mean, it's almost like a prison deck in that kind of situation. This is a super clunky hand, but hopefully Surveilling can make it a little bit better. I think we want to keep that on top because we want to hit these Wandering Emperors on 4. I'm going to go for a High Noon rather than just helixing this right away. I'm not really sure what... Yeah, the opponent's got quite a strange mana base here, so... I'm not really sure what we're up against. I like Decadent Dragon a lot. I've thought a little bit about what that might look like to brew with that. It's a pretty solid, just like one-off value piece. Looks like they got Restless Bivouac from our side of the board there. I think they're playing some kind of treasure-based deck. I don't want to kill their Requisitioner because it gives them colored mana, which they just don't have right now. So we've got Runner Wandering Emperor, which is pretty cool. So they've got the colors they need now for the Decadent Dragon. And with that, they'll have some treasure generation. Honestly, what's one more treasure at that point? But let's just also gain the life. Whatever they're going to be up to next is going to be kind of scary. So let's just react to it at instant speed. Grow our Wandering Emperor. I played this dragon. Tali, nice. They're gonna blow up Planeswalkers. Did they just decline to cast both? I find that surprising. Let's get some duders. Let's continue to get some duders. Still trying to figure out what happened with the Tali. It seems like they got burned down the house and Virtue of Loyalty, and that casting those would have been cool. 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, which I think just means if we do this, they're out in a Tali. But unfortunately, that means I can't flash in something with Virtue of Loyalty. Do we want to attack with the Restless Bivouac and then flash in something with a Virtue of Loyalty? I think that sounds reasonable. Does this go to my adventure zone? Guess not. Well, that puts us one off of being able to blow up everything with whatchamacallit, Final Showdown. So if they play our Heartflame Duelist, we'll Sacred Fire it. If they don't play anything, we'll get a Knight. And then, oh, they can't, of course. We're back at castable board wipe, which we may end up needing. Right now, I'm kind of going with the option of flashing Wandering Emperor to eat Decadent Dragon when it attacks. So they're going to get some more value off of our deck with Decadent Dragon. So they're sort of playing red your deck, which is awesome. I love your deck archetypes. Yeah, it's kind of time to start doing stuff. We need to threaten their life total or something. Final showdown, so I think we just let that go. Active Planeswalker is, it's nice. It's a very reasonable thing to have going for us here. And when we get overwhelmed on board, we'll be able to do something about that. This is sort of a no time like the present. Just crack this off and deal with a lot of things our opponent's got there. You gotta be feeling that, like, are we supposed to be doing something type pressure as well. I'm just gonna get this Virtue of Loyalty down. We're gonna go a little shields down here to do it. They might get rid of this knight. Them getting rid of the knight's annoying. It stops us from getting value off the Virtue of Loyalty, but I'm alright with it down. Again, they're going to be playing one thing. They're blitzing it to get rid of our Wandering Emperor. That's pretty cool. I can see the advantages of that for sure, because they've seen that we don't have weird interruptions for that. I wonder why they're not playing that. I wonder if they actually can't or something. So here we go. So we've got a little bit more strange insurance. I think we want to play on their turn, even though we're getting it, losing value from another Virtue of Loyalty trigger. But we should be able to get some creatures down and kind of go from there soon. All right. Looks like we're going to have to beat a lot of our own deck to get through the dragon. Just get this bodyguard into the frame. We'll eat one germ. Might. And then eat one might. High Noon being that great equalizer. You've got access to 7 cards. We've got access to 3, and we're still just doing one at a time. One at a time. I think. Oh, I've played my card for turn, so I think it's efficient to blast here. But I've already used my piece. All right, getting a Prairie Dog down. Pretty okay here. Actually get in for a change here. That is unreal. And are we gonna get counters on dudes? And we've got counters on dudes. Alright, that's a big boy. It's a mighty big boy. I presume this time they'll opt to actually cast the things that... Wait a second. Cast is the operative word here. It's High Noon. It's High Noon that's stopping them from casting it. Oh, goodness. Dome you for 3. Okay. We've got shenanigans with Final Showdown here that are pretty sweet. There's some ways for this to go wrong, but there's some ways for this to go right. So I think let's do it on their turn, or at least when they've cast a spell. And what I mean by shenanigans is we actually get now the 7-mana version of this, where you get to keep one of your creatures alive, which would mean we get to keep our Prairie Dog. Okay, So they still have they can still blow us out here, but this is one of the sweeter options of this because we can give a creature we control indestructible and then blow up all enemy creatures. So we'll give our Prairie Dog indestructible and then we'll kill the giant Itali. This puts us pretty visibly ahead on board. Again, with High Noon stopping them from deploying all of the different pieces that they have in their hand right now. So they're going to actually go for this Heartflame Duelist. Love that because that is better than them not doing one that's like interactable here. And then we can do this just to use all of our mana. Crack in. Might as well just show them that yeah, we don't have anything anymore. It's all Prairie Dog all the time. Behold the multiverse, sweet. I like these Breach the Multiverse decks. How close are we to milling out? So we're not that close to milling out. Okay. And you've got some 1/1s. So you're really saying I don't want to die to a Prairie Dog to the dome here. Did that really happen? I mean, I really hope that you have Doomblade. I'm so, like, offended on your behalf. Don't have mana to animate this and chump it, so now you're actively dead to the High Noon, and the Wandering Emperor can't -2 to get rid of the Prairie Dog because of virtue of loyalty. I am so sorry that this happened to you like this. You didn't deserve this. Not sure that you can cast it. I mean, we'll do it this way because the High Noon is mildly worth holding onto in case they can fizzle this. So they're gonna just like it's so dead. It's it's like getting revenge on that Prairie Dog after what it put you through. Okay, that was a whirlwind of a game. That was a little bit of stolen valor there on that victory. That's the power of Prairie Dog Prison. That's the deck's name. No. Greed check. This hand's not even that good. It's one of those hands that just looks good because it doesn't have it doesn't have lands gunking it up, but we got there. We knew that. We knew we could count on that. Legion Extruder. That card is super annoying. Too bad one of this guy's modes isn't destroy target artifact. That'd be the most useful thing here. Hilariously, just not at all punished for the Ruthless Keep, but we might not be able to do anything about a Legion Extruder deck. They just crap out so many little artifacts. Let's see what else we got on top of the deck. These are good cards, but they're not land to play Wandering Emperor. Nor is that, but it does cleanly answer a Legion Extruder token. Spring-loaded Saw Trap. We can also use kind of the protection mode on the bodyguard, which I think we'll use. Get the ETB on the Kutzel's Flanker again when this bodyguard dies, or when we cause the bodyguard to die. They'll probably make a 3/3 here, and we can heal fix it. Maybe more, in fact, definitely more mana efficient to have Heart Flame slashed it. Don't even know what this does. Oh, man. Puts us actually back to punished for the keep. I feel like that's fair. I feel like I can't be in any way, shape, or form mad about that. But efficiently deal with artifacts or enchantments right now. And that deck just is a house against us anyway. It's just doing too much stuff on our axis that we can't really compete with. When I think of Prairie Dog Prison, this is basically the hand that I think of and hope that it's good enough. Against aggro on the play, it's probably not good enough because we don't have a 1-drop. It may even be necessary to High Noon instead of Prairie Dog, especially if they plot something here. Yeah, I think I'm still going to have to High Noon instead of Prairie Dog. That obligates them to now just play one thing per turn, limiting prowess triggers, and then we'll hopefully gain a little life off of the burn spells that we used to catch back up here. Okay. Okay. I think it might be too greedy to try to Prairie Dog and Lightning Helix. So we might just have to, see what's happening. Sacred Fire or Lightning Helix. And then maybe next turn we can Prairie Dog plus one of those. High Noon, I think, goes a long way here to stem the bleeding. Okay, we've got this guy. To the end of your next turn, you may play stuff. Let's get rid of the Swift Spear. I did it like that because now Heartflame Duelist means that Lightning Helix gains 6 life. And if they immediately go to Bolt, the Heartflame Duelist, it will immediately go to Lightning Helix to Slick Shot Show Off. Easy for me to say. Oh, no we won't. It's once per turn. High Noon. Symmetrical. Okay. Or are you going to put this on yourself? So then you represent the most damage for this turn. I think will be damage inefficient, but more efficient on the life gain there. And then Wandering Emperor will get rid of Felden without causing our opponent to exile a bunch of cards, rather. Some additional incidental life gain. Pushing it just further and further out of the range where they're going to just, bash our face in. I like even Interrupter. I think I'm also going to kill Wandering Emperor to get a 2/2 on the ground here. And then we can get the Prairie Dog down. It's the most efficient to do it like that. Get our Heartflame Duelist down. Unfortunately, it doesn't get to grow the Prairie Dog, but we can start worrying about that later. Hey, it did grow the Prairie Dog. Synergy. I planned that because it is cast from exile. Planned that. Adventure cards. Awesome. All right, that's a pretty large oof for our opponent there. We are the captain now. I don't think this casts. Yeah, return to the battlefield. So we can't even interrupter it. But they go to play something, we even interrupter it, or we Sacred Fire the etchings of Kumano. Yeah, I think it's just more annoying if we just bounce that back. It's a hand, and it represents more damage on the crackback. Damage that they just currently cannot take. So they're just dead. Hit him with a little Sacred Fire. Attack with all the dorks. And that's how we flip the script on a mono red burn with the power of High Noon and Prairie Dogs. Alright, this will be the last one for today. We're lacking Prairie Dogs. And we're a little high drop flooded here, but theoretically, keepable hand. Well, opponent took a mulligan. Potentially boding well for us. Okay, we just need to hit a land and we can start doing things. Preferably two. We'll probably either, bolt or 2-drop or play a 2-drop of our own. I think with Forsaken Miner being the character, we'll just play a 2-drop of our own since that comes out of the bin very efficiently. All right, not the one we needed, but we'll take it, and I think we'll take that one also. It'll just be slow to get our Wandering Emperors online, but at least this way we deterministically will. Take our beats from the Forsaken Miner. I think I would probably protect this knight if they went to kill it right now. Okay, instead they're going to drop a Servant of the Stinger. And probably a land. Okay. And Servant of the Stinger is a good enough target as any for our Lightning Helix here. Alright. We will almost have Wandering Emperors on the table soon. We get to get in for 2, and we get to think about what we want to do with this Kutsil's Flanker. Fair enough. Okay. Let's just see what we're going to draw. High Noon and Prairie Dogs. Where were you when we needed you? Opponent's going to start to have mana, so I think I will keep it in that order, and I think I might actually main phase deploy this High Noon to start to let us leverage that a little bit. What this means is we can no longer protect our guys should combat go south. So I think I'm going to hold both back. Okay, that makes sense. They're going to kill the... what's the word? I was going to say redundant one, but that's not it. Kill the recursive one to draw some cards. And they've got Vedmir. I haven't seen this one before. Okay, it gets bigger when you commit crimes. Fair enough. That seems like something your deck would want. Yep. Let's just do, one at a time stuff for now, and then we can tip the scales with the Wandering Emperor. shortly. Because the Prairie Dog will actually start to grow. Yeah, we'll take our beats. Servant of the Stinger is back. It's an interesting card. It's cool that I've seen it in a couple of these standard decks that it feels good enough for a standard. We haven't seen an effect quite like that, where it's still a little bit hard to go get your card, but it's only 2 mana, and it's not that hard to go get your card. Yeah, I'm going to grow the Prairie Dog. Would I protect the Prairie Dog? I won't have to answer that question because they're just drawn cards. Fair enough, fair enough. As we've mentioned in a couple of these matchups, that's where High Noon really shines. I mean, they're going to draw more cards than us, but they're still going to have to deploy them at the same rate. Love that. Love that for us. All right, continuing to grow Vadmir and to resurrect their Forsaken Miner. Yeah, seems fair. I mean, that's what the deck does. I'm fine with that. Creature, enchantment, or planeswalker card from it. I mean, that's your one. You get rid of one of our Wandering Emperors. We got backup Wandering Emperors. And then out one goes. And of course deploys the Samurai creature token with Vigilance. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. I feel like I'm actually getting froggy with this Prairie Dog. And then, again, as though we planned it, this is synergy that I really should have paid attention to that I was including. I guess I'm a genius. The best part about brewing is that I just don't know what my cards do. You just put them together by feel, but because you get to cast Virtue of Loyalty from exile, you still get to keep the counters on the Prairie Dog. Now, I think High Noon is actually putting in more work right now. I know it seems like blasphemy. Let's just make a samurai. I think I'm willing to trade off the Prairie Dog if they feel like letting us kind of. All right. Get another Prairie Dog down. I don't know that we really need to. All right, Vadmir is getting close to having lifelink, but I'm fine with blocking. They don't know about the Sacred Fire. That was a very strange Promethean style sentence. So let's just do this and this, and just kind of see where things go. Apparently, they go right to damage resolution. Yep. All right. It's that slow out value there. We just go a little bit over the top of what they were doing, I think. It looks like they kind of, like, maybe there's big stuff in there, but they just didn't really get to it. That front half of the deck we can kind of grind with, especially if we're, like with High Noon, asking them to play, 1/2 drop per turn rather than 2. All right, Prairie Dog fans, here's the deck again. What did we learn today? We have pretty good matchups against some of the red decks because of the incidental life gain. We can kind of go toe for toe with some mid range, but it's really draw dependent in those cases. And then most of the control-y stuff, and certainly that artifacts deck, just creams us. But if you like Prairie Dogs and you want to try it out, it's a fun little build. Keep your eye out for more CMC content. We really hope to keep releasing things here. See you on the Magic the Gathering Arena field of battle.